Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins.
Hello, Wisconsin! Who is so excited that President Donald J. Trump is here today with us on this beautiful farm in Wisconsin? Oh my goodness, y'all. Listen, a couple of really quick things, and then I think we're going to get this show on the road. Number one, there is no president in American history, at least in our lifetimes, that loves our farmers and rural America more than President Trump. Can I hear an amen? There is no one that is going to fight more to ensure that we can preserve the last best hope of freedom in the world. And the only way to do that is to preserve this way of life. Rural America, the heart of America, the original founding of America, our incredible agriculture, rural America, farmers, ranchers. Can I get an amen? There is nowhere in America, nowhere in the world, but in this country, where we put our farmers, our ranchers, what we do, what you do every day, the righteousness of tilling the land, the hard work, the importance of feeding and fueling and clothing not only America, but the world. Can I get an amen? Y'all, it is the honor of a lifetime to serve in President Trump's cabinet. It is the honor of a lifetime to be the 33rd Secretary of Agriculture. You all have to know that every minute of every day, of every week, of every month, we are fighting for you. And you have to know that we understand the extraordinary challenges that we are facing right now out in rural America. But I also want you to know that no one will work harder, no one will fight harder, and no one will be your back, have your back more than President Donald Trump. Can I get an amen? You know, the final thing I want to say is that we are celebrating the 250th birthday of America this year. And in fact, just in a few weeks in Washington and around this country, when George Washington, our founding farmer, also founding father, decided to stand up and to fight for freedom with Thomas Jefferson, with James Madison, with John Adams, they were just normal, everyday, average Americans who knew that God had called them for something greater than what they were doing, who knew that they were called for this moment in time to save freedom, to save our country, to start the best, most incredible experiment of freedom in world history. And now today, together in this hall, we are all called for that same moment in time. God bless you all. God bless Wisconsin. God bless our farmers and our ranchers. We will never stop fighting for you. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in the sky, more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why. Understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why. Oh, I want that sun up here. We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our roundtable participants.
begin to tell the story of how great a love can be. The sweet love story that is older than the sea. The simple truth about the love she brings to me. Where do I start? With her first hello, she gave a meaning to this empty world of mine. There'd never be another love, another time. She came into my life and made the living fine. She fills my heart. She fills my heart with very special things, with angel songs, with wild imaginings. She fills my soul with so much love that anywhere I go, How long does it last? Can love be measured by the hours in a day? I have no answers now, but this much I can say. I know I'll meet her till the stars all burn away, and she'll be there.
Be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in the sky more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why. Oh, why can't my dream come? Understanding sometime, strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why. Oh, I want that sun appear.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the owner of Custer Farms, Ken Custer, Hall of Fame offensive tackle Joe Thomas, Congressman Derek Van Orden, and Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody. So, I just did an interview in the most beautiful barn I've ever seen. Ken, it was a beauty, but it was raining. And it was with NBC Fake News. And because it was raining, I got a little bit angry at them. I was not happy with them. But we had a good time. I just want to thank everybody for being here. We love the farmers. We love everything about your state. And you know, we won your state by a lot. And we've had great success here in Wisconsin. And we brought a lot of business to Wisconsin. We recommend it. I love the place. And hopefully you're going to be voting Republican because, frankly, Republican is, I call it the sane way to go. It's the sane way. Because what I'm seeing from the Democrats, they're going to have some problems. And by the way, if they don't, if they win, this country is finished. We're in trouble. So I hate to say that you have no choice, but I don't think you have much of a choice. These are some very sick puppies that I'm looking at that are running for office. And on the other side, I call them the Democrats, D-U-M. You take out the B. A lot of people don't know dumb has a B. You take out the B, and you change the E. You put the U, and you have a Democrat. But their policy is just outstandingly bad, and it's really bad for the farmer because we were having record stuff, and then we had to put out a fire. We had to extinguish a nuclear weapon, a capable nuclear. This was going to be a very capable country that was going to have a massive nuclear presence, and we weren't going to let that happen. Nobody wanted that to happen, and we've largely finished that, you'll see. And one way or the other it's finished. One way or the other it's finished. It's either finished with a piece of paper or finished a more difficult way, although you could say a much easier way. As you know, with Iran, they have no Navy. 159 ships in 4 days. Even Ken is impressed by that. 4 days, 159 ships at the bottom of the sea. Not that we like that, but that's the way it is. And the blockade is unbelievable. There's never been a blockade like that. The Navy is... We have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's never been a military like it. And if you remember when all the heat I was taking from the Democrats, it would be nice, I'll use Democrats at least half the time. But if you remember the heat that I had to take to get help for the farmer and also to get help for the military, because they don't want anything to do with the military, the farmer, or for the most part, they don't want anything to do with anything good. And that's why the midterms are coming up. And I hope you people are really spiritized, because we're at a point, we're going to come out of Iran very quickly, and it's going to be very strong, one way or the other, whether it's a piece of paper or the very tough way, okay? The very tough way is maybe the easier way. But we're going to come out, and your fertilizer prices are going to go way down, just like they were 4 months ago. Your fertilizer's down, your energy's down, your oil, your gas is all coming way down. And frankly, I thought it would go much higher than it did. I thought, frankly, that gasoline would be much higher than it was. I was in Iowa, another place I like a lot, and it was just before we started the excursion to Iran, and we passed gas stations. It was $1.85 a gallon, and we're going to get them down to those numbers again very quickly. But as they say in the farming business, we had to take care of business. Look at this guy over here. I don't know who the hell he is, but he is one hell of a specimen, I can tell you. This guy, this is one hell of a physical specimen. I thought I was big until I met you, Joe, you know? You're fantastic. That's what I like. Anyway, I just want to let you all know that I'm thrilled to be here at Custer Farms, and Ken and his family, they're amazing. I took pictures with them backstage and got to know them a little bit. They're really amazing people. They built this country. You all built this country. Not the complainers, not the wise guys. You all built this country. And I just want to... And I just want to let you know that Wisconsin, for me, has been just a great place. You know, it's known as difficult. It's difficult. You got to be good to win. But we won here, as you know. We won it a lot. And we're trying to figure out who the few people that voted against us are. We're looking for them right now. But today we're celebrating the historic strides for some of the most loyal, hardworking patriots anywhere in the nation. And they're really called our American farmers. And we're with you 1,000%, or I wouldn't be here. We're with you like you wouldn't believe. And you're going to see some very good things happen over the next 90-day period. I told Ken, 90 days, watch what happens. You're going to be better than you were 4 months ago. And before we begin, I'm delighted to report that for the third month in a row, the jobs numbers, I guess you saw them this morning, they just got released, and they smashed all expectations by actually 3 times with... And this is during a military conflict. I call it that because it's really not that much of a war, but it's a military conflict. It's a practice. But this is 172,000 jobs were created in May. That's about 4 times higher than anticipated. And experts predicted 30,000 jobs. And these are the strongest job numbers of the entire administration so far. And that's during this conflict on top of it. So it's great. And you know, we have a problem in this country, because it used to be, I'm a little older than a couple of you, but I don't feel old. I feel the same as I did 50 years ago. It's crazy, Mr. Senator. We got a great senator right here, Ron. But I do feel the same. But in the old days, you know, if you had good job numbers, like great job numbers like they announced today, the stock market goes up. Today, everything is crazy. The whole world is crazy. So when you have great job numbers, the stock market goes down, because they think interest rates will go up. And when interest rates go up, they stop inflation. Well, you know what else stops inflation? Growth actually stops inflation. and they ought to go back to the old system. When we have good numbers, the markets ought to go up, not go down. And it would be, that's the way you build greatness. You build greatness that way. So I think it's going to, we have a great gentleman coming in, Kevin Warsh. He's going to do a fantastic job at the Fed. We're getting rid of too late. But we have, Kevin is one of the greats. So you're going to see, but you're going to see beyond anything, you're going to see numbers coming in over the next more than 2.5. We have 2.5 years plus. Can you believe how time flies, right? And can you believe the work we've done? You know, it's sad because you have speechwriters and you have advisors and you have all these people, and generally you don't like listening to any of them because if you do, you're in trouble. But I said, you know, I want to write about the border. And I want to talk about the border because when I came here, we had the most unsafe, we had the worst border maybe anywhere in the world. There was no border. 25 million people came in. Drug dealers came in. People from mental institutions came in. Murderers came in. 11,888 murders, most of whom, over 50% of whom, killed, can you believe this, more than one person. One killed 7 people. We allowed them into our country. We've got them largely. They're going out, and they're going out fast. We have to fight crooked judges, crooked administrations, crooked politicians. But they're going out fast. But we have the safest border in our history for the last 12 months. And this is a hard number to believe, but I don't give it. It's a number that's out there. You've heard it. 0 people have come into our country through our southern border. 0. It's a little hard. If they said like 20 people, I would have been, 25 million came in through Sleepy Joe Biden. So we had 0 people. And these are done by largely sort of a radical leaning left people, the reports. But it is what it is. And the good thing is they don't try to come in. It makes it a lot easier because they know it's going to be very hard to come in. Now, we take people in, but they have to come in legally. We want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. But I say, let's talk about the border. Sir, nobody cares about the border. I said, I won the election on the border. Let's talk about the... Sir, I'm telling you, nobody cares. Run. Nobody cares about the border. You fix the border. I want to brag about it. Sir, they want to hear about other things like fertilizer. And we'll take care of fertilizer too. When I also came in, eggs were like the highest. And remember this, I inherited all these high prices. They came in and they said, affordability. They made up the word, because that's the only thing they're good at, although I'm good at making up words. So they go, affordability. I was there one day, and I said to our great Secretary of Agriculture, what's with the egg prices? So on my second day, I gave a news conference, which is more news conferences that Biden gave in like 6 months. But he almost did. He didn't do it. Yeah. Sleepy Joe was not heavy into news conferences, all right? He'd take one question, he'd go, oh, let's see, Jim Smith from NBC? I don't do that, they just start screaming at me. So I had a news conference on my second day, and they said, what about eggs? What about eggs? Tell me about eggs. I said, what's the story with eggs? Give me a little hint. What's with eggs? They said, what's happening with eggs? And I was told, we have the great Easter egg hunt at the White House, and I was told to order plastic eggs. I said, I'm not ordering plastic eggs. And I called this young lady right over here, Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture. I said, Brooke, get the egg prices down, please. And she got them down. And by the way, speaking of Tom Tiffany, is one of the best congressmen in our country. And I was there, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, right at the beginning. I endorsed this guy. I had no idea, but I liked his last name. You know why? Because I bought the air rights many years ago off Tiffany, and I made a lot of money. So I saw Tom Tiffany, and I backed him, and he went like a rocket ship, and he won, and you've kept winning. And now he's running for a thing called governor, and you have... And you have I don't want to knock him because he's finished after this, but you have a very sleepy governor too, and you got a very sleepy. But I can tell you, Tom Tiffany is running for governor. He's a winner, and he's going to do a great job. Okay, right? Good luck, Tom. So in a single month, we added 7,000 new manufacturing jobs and 17,000 new construction jobs, and we're building more plants than at any time in the history of our country. We have $18 trillion coming into the United States. As an example, the previous administration, in 4 years, think of this, had much less than $1 trillion come in. We have $18 trillion from countries and people all over the world in 11 months, not even in 1 year. So that's some difference. And I think that's probably why people are shocked to see the job numbers, because the construction jobs are through the roof. But when these plants, car plants and AI plants and all the different plants, when they open up, you know, we're leading China by a lot. I just got back from China. I was with President Xi, who I respect. But we're leading China by a lot in the AI race, a very important race. And we're leading everybody now when it comes to cars. They're coming in from Germany. They're coming in from Japan. They're coming in from Canada. Canada treats you guys rough, you know? Canada, they put on big tariffs. We didn't meet them with tariffs. I took care of it my first term really strongly, and I am now. But Canada's been very rough. You find them rough to deal with? Yes, you're pretty rough to deal with. He's more of a diplomat than me. And we are doing well. The previous 2 months, we were revised upward by nearly 100,000 jobs. They put the numbers too low. So actually, we had 100,000 more jobs than they reported. They were obviously Democrats, right? Wages for workers continue to rise, and for manufacturing workers, wages are up more than 8% since I took office, which is close to a record. Think of that. A blue collar is doing better than it's ever done before. And your farmers, if you remember, we had a bad patch in my first term where China and other countries were sort of boycotting the United States. And I met with the farmers, and I said, I'm going to get you something for it because you've been treated very badly. And I got $28 billion for the farmers in the first term, remember? I just asked Ken whether or not he got it. He said, I did. And we're looking at something also. Right now, we're looking at something to take the place of what's happened, because it's artificial. What happened to you is artificial with the energy and with the fertilizer. So we're looking at something. But in the first term, I got the farmers $28 billion, and I'll never forget, I was in the White House. I had about 35 farmers along this big, beautiful table. Not as beautiful as this table, okay? But this gorgeous, beautiful White House table, all the best. And I said, I'm going to get you a subsidy. And they looked at me, and he just said the same thing. One of them looked at me, stood up, said, sir, we don't want subsidy. We just want an even playing field. I said, nobody ever said that to me. All they want is money. You understand that? First time. Nobody ever said that. I've had so many meetings with different groups, different industries. If I said, I'm going to get you $28 billion, they say, oh, get it. They actually said, we don't want it. Now, I got it for you anyway. I didn't notice anybody turning it down, but I got it. But they said something that no other group said, Ron. They said, we don't want a subsidy. We just want just an even playing field, fair trade. They just wanted to be treated fairly. And nobody else has said that but the farmers. So we love you. We love you guys. So we're building more factories now than at any time. And we've also had huge drops. And I'll tell you, this is something that's amazing. African American unemployment is now doing better than it's ever done. And I don't know where that stat came from, but I'll take it. I don't know where the hell that stat came from, but we'll take it. And a short time ago, we were a dead country. We were dead as a doornail. If you look, go back 2 years, we were a laughing stock all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. He couldn't walk down a flight of stairs either, you know. And we had everybody, we were a laughing stock all over the world. And I was with the King of Saudi Arabia because I wanted him to invest trillions of dollars into our country. Look at that whole situation now, too. It's very interesting. But he was good, and he said to me, you know, President, it's amazing. A year and a half ago, we thought you were a dead country, And now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world that we are. We're the strongest, we're the hottest, and we're the most respected country anywhere in the world. So, as I said, the stock market just hit 73 all-time records in a short period of time. We've had 73 all-time record highs. And your 401ks, who has a 401k here? Let me just say, a lot. Your 401ks, as you know, just hit a record high, so that's everybody. And we're just off a very big success in Washington, D.C. We had, it doesn't sound like much, but Washington, D.C. was not properly managed or kept. We had 22 fountains. None of them worked for the last 50 years. None of them. They were graffiti strewn. I did it the inexpensive way. Why should we have a screen? Everybody here has good vision. I want to show you something. Look at this. I'm going to show you the cheap way, okay? We don't want to bring screens. It costs too much money. Look at that. That's before and after. Look at that. Look at it. Can anybody see that? That's before. That's our nation's capital. That's why, look at this graffiti all over it, filthy, disgusting stone. The stone was all horrible. And look over there, that's before and after. Then we had the reflecting pond, 2,500 feet, massive, longer than a building. We have a stat here that's sort of great. Can you guys see this okay? Because I'm too cheap to put up like a projector. Look, so that's the pond. If we're standing up, here's your Sears Tower, Empire State Building, World Trade Center. Look, it's double and triple the size in terms of area. So it would have cost $400 million, Ron, to fix. It would have taken 4 years. And they were getting ready. Doug Burgum's done an amazing job. And I said, you know, rather than doing that, they were going to put stone down, big stone, granite, wonderful, but it all leaks because you have joints. So being a very good builder, I said, you know what? I built a lot of swimming pools, many, many swimming pools. Every time I do a development, I do swimming pools. I know more about swimming pools. I said, why can't we put the wonderful material, which is thick, pasty, beautiful like rubber, but industrial strength? Why can't we use it? And let's pick the color blue from the American flag, which is what we did. And that is the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen. And look at that. I mean, look at that. It just opened yesterday. We just opened it. So that was going to take 4 years, 400 million. It took really about a month. Okay, it was going to, can you imagine Washington between Lincoln? Think of Washington, D.C., between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington. Just think about this. You know that beautiful spire in honor of the great George Washington and the beautiful Lincoln Memorial. So between there, thousands of feet long. It was built in 1922, and to be honest, it never really worked. It leaked like a sieve because it was stone and concrete. So I took over the project. Now, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama spent, and Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, they spent a total of about $150 million trying to fix it. They never got it opened. It never worked. It was terrible, disgusting. It was garbage-ridden. And I said to my pool guy, I said, take a look at it. And he said, well, sir, we can do it. We'll get industrial strength. And I used some guys, not him, I used some guys, but he gave me some good ideas because he's a pro. You know, they got very upset when I sent my pool person. I said, who else am I going to send? So I sent him over, and we sprayed it and put down beautiful, like a pool coating. It'll last maybe 50 to 100 years. So here's the thing, 400 million versus like 10 million. 4 years versus a month. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And the difference is, look, here's your Lincoln Memorial. You have the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at how that reflects. It's like a mirror. Oh, beautiful, clean water. They had like garbage. Barack Obama wanted to save money, so he took the water out of the Potomac. That didn't work out too well. A lot of things were coming out of that river into this one. It wasn't good. So we just think of it. So, like a month of this work, we actually added to it. We did the sidewalks, because once we did this, we had to do the rest, because it looked so good. But think of it. 400 million versus like 10 million bucks for a better job. 4 years versus a month for a better job. We have many things like that. I talk about that all the time. We do a lot of things like that. So we're very proud of Washington. We had 22 fountains that didn't work. All of the fountains, not one fountain in Washington worked. Out of the 22 fountains, they're all looking beautiful, just like the one I showed you. And now they're clean, they're beautiful, there's no graffiti. Washington, D.C. is a safe city. It was a very unsafe city a year and a half ago. And a very unsafe city. Your child would go to see the Jefferson Memorial or the Washington or the Lincoln or any of them and would oftentimes not come back. It was a horrible place. It was horrible what was happening. And we put our great military in there. We did a job. We removed 5,000 people that were career criminals. 2% of the people, think of this, 2% of the people, did you know this, Ron, create 91% of the crime. And I love that statistic because you can get rid of 2%. And we took them out, we brought them back to where they came from. They came in, many of them came in through Sleepy Joe's open border policy, one of the craziest policies I've ever heard. So we saved a lot of money. And you go to Washington, D.C., new grass. People say they don't even recognize it. We did that all in a little bit more than a year. And even I said it's amazing. But maybe the biggest thing is we don't have, it's considered now a very, very safe city. And you can go there and you're going to be 100% perfect. We had the restaurants were all closing and now they're opening up. They don't have enough restaurants anymore. It's a beautiful thing to see. Every day my administration is fighting to protect and defend the jobs and livelihood of our great farmers. I love our farmers, our growers, agricultural producers, ranchers, from coast to coast. Under the last administration, Biden and the radical left Democrats in Congress crushed farmers with brutal restrictions, crippled you with the worst inflation. So the Biden administration had the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 49 years, 48 years, but whether you say 48 or forever, I think it was forever. We had the worst inflation we've ever had, and think of that, and failed to negotiate even a single new trade deal for our farmers. They didn't negotiate one new trade deal for our farmers. I just made a great deal. I came back from President Xi, and he's buying billions and billions of dollars worth of soybeans and other things, and you're seeing that starting to kick in. Thank you. So by contrast, in my first year back in the Oval Office, average farm incomes for agricultural producers in our country have skyrocketed by more than 20%. Now, it's been over the last couple of months since we went in for the military operation. You've seen fertilizer go up and you've seen energy go up. It's going to come down to where it was or lower. You'll be very happy. Otherwise, Ken is going to call me. He's going to bawl me out, and I'll say, oh, sorry, Ken, I was only kidding, right? All right? He knows I'm going to do it. With Republicans in Congress like Tom Tiffany, like Derek Van Orden. Where's Derek? Derek. This guy he fights like hell. He's in a little bit of a community that tends to be on slightly a little bit more than we wanted left, but he loves them all, and he's very popular, and he's going to win by a lot. You're doing well. I understand you're really doing well, so thank you, man. And he's a real fighter, and he's a great guy. We've been friends right from, all of us, we've been friends right from the beginning. So we passed the largest tax cuts in American history with a great, big, beautiful bill. We made the small business tax deduction permanent, benefiting 98% of the farmers and ranchers. We gave you 100% expensing and bonus depreciation. So when you buy a new tractor or anything else you buy, you're allowed to deduct it. Do you buy any new tractors? Got a lot of nice tractors back. Got a lot of tractors back there, by the way. But so you can deduct it, the full cost of the tractors, 1 year, any equipment, 1 year, all. You can deduct it all in the first year instead of over a period of many, many years. And we also saved the $2 million. Thank you very much. That's a big deal, actually. We also saved the $2 million American farms from, think of that, from extinction by ending. What we did is we got rid of the estate tax or the death tax. So if you love your child, if you love your child, if you don't love your child, then don't worry about it. It doesn't make any difference. Does anybody not love your child in the audience? No, but if you have a farm like this, someday it's going to come the time, right? And I met your boys, and he loves his boys. I know that because he started clapping for that last statement about no death tax. And he was clapping. He didn't clap for anything else. That's, that means you love your boys. So, boys, I just found out your father loves you. But think of it. And I was seeing this in my first term. We did it in my first term. We did it now. We extended it out. So you have no estate tax, or no, we call it the death tax on a farm or a small business. Now, I saw it myself. You have a way of life that sometimes you're land rich and cash poor. Sometimes you have lots of different conditions. But people that are on farms love being on farms. You wouldn't trade my life. You wouldn't want my life. Believe me, you don't want it. Your life is much better than my life. I will tell you, your ear wasn't a little pierced over here. You didn't get pierced. You have a nice, safe, beautiful life. But I've seen it with farmers maybe more than any industry. People want to have their farm. It's a way of life. And they love the life on the farm. And the family would leave. The father would die. The mother would die. Leave it to the kids. The kids would have a big estate tax problem or a death tax problem. They'd go to the bank. They'd borrow a lot of money. More money than they should have borrowed, couldn't make a deal, and they'd end up losing the farm. In many cases, I have to say, they do terrible things. They'd commit suicide. They'd lose their farm. They'd lose their way of life. They couldn't pay the tax. And I got rid of that tax. I ended that tax, so I hope you're happy. Right? And the Democrats fought me on that, by the way. If they ever got in, I think they'd end that. But if something happens, if you love your child, you want to leave it. You have no estate tax, no death tax to pay. And every single Democrat in Congress voted against these critical measures. They voted against the no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. They all voted against all of this stuff. They voted against a tax reduction. They voted against all of it. And they voted against saving your family farms from the death tax. So just remember that when you go into the polls, because they'll change it back immediately. There's something wrong with these people. All of these things that we have done, and Tom, Tiffany, I have to say, you were so helpful, and Derek, what the job you've done with me and helping to get it passed. And let me tell you, that man is a senator. He loves the farmers and he loves your state, and he doesn't care about anything else. He wants to make sure you get treated fairly. And there's no better advocate. You have no better advocate than Ron Johnson. So thank you, Mr. Senator. And he'll be a hell of a governor. I know the guy, he'll drive you crazy. He'll be calling me, President, you got to send more money to Wisconsin. Leave me alone, all right? He'll do well, too. Thank you. As president, I fought for the American farmer like no one has ever fought before. Nobody's, like I'm up here today, I don't need this. I got elected, I don't have. What the hell do I have to be here for? I got elected. I'm here because I like the farmer. I mean, when you think about it, I guess there's a lot of truth to that, right? I could be home right now in the beautiful White House watching somebody else on television talking. On day one, I terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate. They wanted your tractors to be all electric. They wanted your cars to be all electric. And, look, Elon, he had a bad moment, but now he's a friend of mine again. He had a very bad moment. He's 80% brilliant, and 20% he's got little bad moments. But I love electric cars, but you know what? Not everybody wants them, and not everybody, in terms of distance and lots of other things. And I think they're great, but I also want to see all gasoline. I want to see the hybrids, which are great. I want you to have anything. And they wanted your tractors, they wanted the tractors to be turned into all electric. And that didn't even sound good to me, right? That didn't even sound good to me. And it wouldn't have worked very long. You would have had to stop every 15 minutes to get a new charge. How would it be if you're driving your tractor along, everything's wonderful, and then Candy wants to work? He goes, oh man, I gotta go get a new charge every 10 minutes. That's not too good, right? You'd rather be able to operate it for about 4 days before you fill it up, right? So anyway, so we solved that problem. We ended the electric mandate, okay? And on day one, and one of the other reasons this would have gutted the ethanol industry. Do we have fans here of the ethanol industry? Okay. Because if they got in, they will end the ethanol industry in one swoop, so you better remember that. And we eliminated all unnecessary restrictions on sales of E15, and I've made it clear that we're going to go E15 all year round, and I think it's something that you want, right? Don't you like that? Are you happy with that? Are you happy? So they put a lot of these guys, that's all they talked about, E15. They were driving me crazy. They called me, can we talk about E15? How about something else, right? Tom Tiffany would call, can we talk about E15? But anyway, you got your wish, fellas, okay? And we massively expanded crop insurance and issued a historic $12 billion in farm relief. So it's $12 billion, but it was $28 billion in my first, and we're looking at that right now about increasing it. And to stop major equipment manufacturers from restricting you from fixing your own farm equipment, we gave you the right to repair. Do you like it? The right to repair. It was a little strange. I mean, some of you are better mechanics than the people at John Deere. And we love John Deere, Mr. May of John Deere. But they wanted to, your tractor's broken down. I'll bet you can fix a tractor as well as about anybody else. Right? I can look at this guy. I guarantee, if you were mandated, let's say you have a tractor that's broken and you know exactly how to fix it, you wouldn't be too happy about being mandated to bring the tractor back to John Deere or wherever you got it, right? You'd like to fix it.
Not so much.
I mean, they actually have, the Democrats, a restriction that if you get caught fixing your tractor, they bring you to jail. You know that? Do you know that I pardoned a man last week who was sentenced to 7 years in jail because he got caught fixing his car or his truck? I said, I like to always say, what did he do? Sir, he was fixing his truck. I said, how long is he getting? 7 years. I said, say it again. It's the first time I've ever heard, like 2 weeks ago. I gave him a pardon because he had to go to jail because he was fixing his tractor or his truck. So I promise, Ken, if you ever get caught fixing your tractor or truck, I will give you a pardon, okay? No, but these are the crazy Democrats. That's what they want. I terminated the ridiculous so-called diesel exhaust fluid requirement. Does that mean anything to you? Big, right? Joe is happy, so I want to keep him happy just in case he gets violent. He's happy. And I repealed the Biden-era EPA, just the crazy waters of the United States. It sounds so nice. It's the worst rule that you've ever had. Waters of the, how could it be nicer? What a beautiful title. It was like taking your land away from you. It was horrible. And I totally repealed it. And there are some people, when I did that repeal, I had a lot of farmers and contractors, builders, house builders, in my office. And I announced the repeal in front of them. I signed it. And these are tough guys. In fact, they look like him, just smaller. And who isn't small? I think everybody's smaller. But no, they look like Joe. And they were crying. Half of them were crying. You remember that? Half of them were crying. I said, why are you crying? What's the big deal? He said, you gave us back our life. They actually had their life taken away. They couldn't touch their land. If they even touched it, they were in violation. They also would go to jail. That was the crazy environmental nonsense that we're all putting up with, which has largely ended. Perhaps most importantly, with our historic trade deals, I've dramatically expanded exports of American meat, poultry, soybeans, biofuels, and of course, Wisconsin dairy, the best, right? Right. And I just see that dairy exports have surged nearly 1.2 billion under our leadership, and this is with a conflict going on. Remember what I said, Ken, when this conflict ends, you're going to see things that you've never seen before, because we are ready to rock. We've never had this kind of investment coming into our country. Nobody else has either. Nobody has ever had anywhere near, not even near, including China, nobody's had this kind of investment coming in to a country. So, increasing 41% to Japan, you've increased your sales. 41% to Japan, 48% to the Middle East, 61% to European Union, 63% to South Asia, and 85% to Australia. So you're doing pretty well. You're going to see it, and you're going to see it a lot better in about 3 months from now. I also signed something that you may or may not like. I don't know. It sounded good to me. It didn't sound very bad to me, but people love it. I also signed the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. You know what that means? That was another one. I had a big signing at the White House. We had some people that have been fighting for that for years. I called Ron. I said, Ron, what's the fight for? I mean, it just sounds good. And it's just better. It's healthy. And I like it. I drank it. I don't know. It gets harder to get it. Now we have it. So that, it's totally opened up now for the kids. And it's great for anybody. And now we're working with Congress to quickly pass the new Farm Bill. We're very well into it. We got some great approvals, the hardest approvals. And I think we're very well on our way to getting the Farm Bill finished and approved. And just to finish up, with the help of the farmers like those here, today we're also helping bring down grocery prices for hardworking Americans, and they're coming down very rapidly. Remember, I inherited these prices. I didn't start them. My prices were great. They rigged the election. When I turned, the election was totally rigged. It was a rigged election, just like they're rigging the election right now, it looks like in California. Can you imagine? It's 4 days, and they still aren't even close to telling you who won. You know why? Because they're rigging the election, that's why. 4 days. In Spain, they had it like, I'm not a big fan of Spain, to be honest with you. It's gone very far left. But they had an election. All the votes were in, similar size to the state of California, a little larger actually, and every vote was in by 10 o'clock in the evening and counted. You're going to be waiting weeks to get these votes. It's corrupt. Somebody said it's incompetent. I said, no, just the opposite. It's unbelievably competent if you happen to be a Democrat politician. Because with their policies, the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And when you look at an election, not even relatively a big election, for one state, for one city, for Los Angeles, they're nowhere close to counting the votes. But you look at what's happening, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And the people that were supposed to win, bad things are happening. It's a crooked state. We have crooked third world elections in a lot of our states, and we should pass our Save America Act. Amazing. And that'll really stop it too. That'll stop it. That's where you have voter ID. It's where you have birth of, your citizenship. You have to prove your citizenship. I think that sounds good. And also, I added a couple in there. Also, the ballots, the voting, the mail-in ballots, so crooked. They send millions of ballots out all over the place. If you're a Democrat, sometimes you get 6 or 7. If you're a Republican, you have to call up, where are my ballots? It's such a crooked deal with third world country. But I added 2 things. No men playing in women's sports. And this is like best of. No transgender mutilization surgery on your child or your children. So we added them. So we inherited very high costs, and we're getting them down. They're coming down very rapidly, and when fuel comes down, they're really going to come down. And I just want to say it's an honor to be here We have Senator Ron Johnson, we have Congressman Tom Tiffany, we have Congressman Derek Van Orden, we have Hall of Fame offensive lineman Joe Thomas. Look at the size of this guy. Boy, oh boy. So you're a Hall of Fame. Did anybody get by you? No. No. He's a good-looking man. That's great, Joe. It's great to know you. Really good. Great career, too. I know who you are. Former president of Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Jake Leinenkugel. Thank you, Jake. The owner here of Custer Farms, and he's a great guy. I think I can almost call him a friend. We had a great time back there, and a wonderful family. Ken, thank you very much. And a fantastic dairy farmer, Jamie Witz-Palak. Where's Jamie? Jamie? Hi, Jamie. Thank you. And finally, two-time gold medal winner in speed skating in this year's Winter Olympics, Jordan Stolz. Where the hell is... Whoa. Oh. That's pretty good. Whoa. Stand up. Stand up. Yeah. USA! 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 I'm keeping it, Jordan. I'm not giving it back. I'm a very good guy for keeping gold. I like it. I'm never giving this back. Congratulations. I forgot to touch his leg. I didn't want to do that. But I can tell you one thing. His leg is like a rock. That's it. 2 gold medals. Wow, that's big stuff. Thank you. It's an honor. And speaking for my other athlete up here, that's pretty good, right? 2. And you go through big competition with a lot of great athletes, right? Are you going to be doing it again? Another Olympics?
I plan to be doing it until 2030, as long as I can. Until Salt Lake City in 2034.
Well,
so that'll be on home soil.
We're going to be watching, okay? You can do it again. So, if we'll go in order if I can, and we'll start with Brooke Rollins and go to Ron Johnson and Tom Tiffany and Derek. And Joe Thomas, would love to have you say a few words, because you can tell us about real tough life, and it's tough in those pits, right? Pretty nasty people in there. You meet some large, nasty people, but you can handle it. And Jake, we're going to ask you to say a few words, if you would. And Ken, and we'll go pretty quickly, because I have to get back to fighting a war in Iran. There's a hell of a speakers list. We might be here all night. You know, if we can, fellas, I got to get back to a place called Washington and protect you, okay? So if you go very quickly, we don't need your life story other than I like the Olympic guy and I like this guy right over here. And Jordan Stolz would like to have you say a couple of words too, okay? Hey, Jordan, why don't you start? Go ahead.
Well, first I want to thank you to all the farmers who are here, and I don't think people really understand how much you guys make a difference in the country. I mean, you guys are the backbone of the nation, and for me, myself, personally, I try to eat as clean as possible, and, you know, a lot of steak, a lot of dairy, and, you know, you guys are the backbone of Wisconsin, so I just want to say thank you to all the farmers and everybody who could make it here today, and, of course, to the president.
That's a winner. Tough to win like that. Yeah, it's a very tough when you're dealing with fractions of a second. That's a tough thing to do. Congratulations. Secretary, if you would, go quickly. Thank you.
Very quickly, how about a big thank you to God for the rain and the farmers and for President Donald J. Trump. President Trump mentioned that when he came back into office, we inherited an almost $50 billion agricultural trade deficit, meaning under Sleepy Joe Biden, not one new trade deal was struck, and we lost $50 billion of market access around the world for you, our great farmers. But in just a little over 1 year, 19 new trade deals have been struck. The markets have opened around the world. We are going to break every record for dairy, for tree nuts, for corn, for ethanol, as we move the American farmer's product, the best in the world, back out to the rest of the world, while at the same time inheriting inputs that had never been so high in the history of our country, whether that was fuel, fertilizer, labor, interest rates, seed, one after the other, and those numbers all were coming down significantly, and as the President promised, will soon come down very soon again. Sir, there is no better American than the most American of all Americans, and that is our great American farmer. God bless you. Thank you so much, sir.
Ron Johnson, please.
Mr. President, welcome to Wisconsin again. You certainly have paid a lot of attention to our state, and we truly appreciate it. Like you, I met with these great farmers backstage, and you nailed it. They love farming. This right now is a third-generation farm, hopefully pass on to fourth. But they face numerous challenges. But what I thought was very common in all the comments speaking to me is they realize that you are going to fight for them. You have turned the Republican Party into the party of the working men and women of this country who have made this country great and who will continue to make it great, and they recognize that. So they know the big messes the Democrats left for you. They realize you don't turn those messes around and fix them right away, but they know you are absolutely dedicated to do it, and they love you for it. So God bless you.
Thank you. So your next governor, hopefully your next governor, Tom Tiffany, please.
Mr. President, where we sit here today, I grew up about 30 miles from here on a dairy farm, milking cows with my brothers and sisters. I want to thank you for signing that bill, whole milk for healthy kids. There's no reason kids can't have whole milk in our schools. Thank you very much for that. And I also want to thank you, and I want to thank the Secretary of Agriculture, because you stood up for forestry. We are now once again managing our forests here in America that have been left in decline for 3 decades. You are doing good things on that front. And the final thing that I want to say to you, that gentleman to your right was the impetus 6 years ago when I came into the Congress of the United States, showing what a disaster it was to convert our beautiful, productive farmland in Wisconsin and across America into intermittent sources of power like wind and solar. He was the impetus behind me talking to you about that. Remember July 2nd last year when we had that meeting in the White House? This is what we talked about, and it has led to higher utility rates, and it has led to the destruction of our farmland. We're not going to allow that to happen here in the state of Wisconsin.
He's right about that. He's right about that. Derek, please.
Mr. President, yesterday we got to spend about an hour and a half in the Oval Office, and you announced the $50 million that you are sending to the state of Wisconsin for clean, beautiful coal. Thank you for that. Mr. President, you signed a $50 billion rural healthcare infrastructure bill. Of that, over $200 million is coming to the state of Wisconsin to make sure that we have healthcare in our rural areas. Thank you for that, sir. You signed whole milk for healthy kids into law, sir. You just reopened every single domestic market in our schools, and that is amazing for the MAHA movement, for our kids, and for our dairy farmers. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you.
Last thing, E15. We are bugging you, and this is the thing about the president you don't know. You call him, he answers the phone. And he understands these issues inside and out. So when he was sort of joking about us talking about E15, sir, you took that on board hard. The only reason that E15 year-round got through the Congress is because of Donald J. Trump, and that did so much for our row cropping, sir. Thank you very much, and welcome back to your second home.
So, Joe, great football player. I would tell one of the truly greats, Hall of Famer. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President. Joe Thomas, Hall of Fame Farms, Muscadet, Wisconsin. You should come visit. It's beautiful. I got to pump Secretary Rollins' tires a little bit for the Small Processors Action Plan, because as a farm-to-table beef producer like myself, we see one of the biggest bottlenecks in our country is the lack of small packing and processing plants. For people like me that are trying to raise farm-to-table beef, Wagyu and Angus, and be able to feed our community, and she's doing great work with that new mission to be able to help us be able to feed our communities and not have to rely on trying to get into the big four packers, which is often impossible and leads to higher costs for the customer and less money and revenue for the farmer and the producer. So thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Secretary Rollins, for all the work you're doing for us small beef producers. On Wisconsin.
So Joe, he played a long time in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer. Who was the greatest quarterback you've ever seen?
Oh, that's a tough one. Is anybody listening here? Because Brady and Manning were pretty good, and I'd have a hard time picking between either one of those guys.
And who was the greatest running back you've ever seen?
I never got to see him in person, but Jim Brown or Barry Sanders are my two.
Okay, good. For football fans, got to keep it. That's good. Thank you very much. Please, Jake, thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you very much for coming to Wisconsin. As we all said, I want to just say, without the American farmers, we as a company would not be able to brew beer. In fact, out of all the thousands of breweries across America, you supply the most important ingredients here in the USA: barley, malt, wheat, and we use some corn. But thank you all, and really appreciate the time, Mr. President. Thank you much.
Thank you. Ken, please.
First off, Mr. President, it's an honor and a blessing to have you here. We are, there in the sound of the roof is a blessing. We American farmers risk a lot and count on God's blessing. And our forefathers in this country understood that. That's what makes us great, is God's blessing. And I thank you for being who you are, the integrity that you hold, doing what you say you're going to do. You make the right decisions for America. They aren't popular. Thank you. And we as farmers have lost, as Secretary Rollins talked, a tremendous amount of our trade. And that's all we need, is we can compete with anybody in the world. We need fair trade.
Yep. We lost a lot during that last administration. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Jamie, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I want to say, as a dairy farmer and a mom, I don't know why I was doing that. Let's go a little bit further back.
Yeah.
As a dairy farmer and a mom, I see how important it is for these policies put in place, not only for the families that are growing the food, but for the people who are consuming it every day. I was so excited to witness the signing of the Whole Milk Healthy Kids Act. I didn't even know what to think, because in reality, it was common sense to me why we don't have those options for our children in the schools. Whole milk provides essential nutrients that our kids need for bone growth, muscle growth, and brain development. So I was really excited to be part of that. And as our dad always said, drink milk, it does a body good. That still stands true to this day. So thank you, President Trump and Senator Rollins.
Thank you. And Steve?
First of all, thank you for coming to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and hearing us out here. Really appreciate that. And as I sit here and represent the farmers of this state and the farmers of America, I think we've all experienced some tough times here the last 4 or 5 years. And listening to what you guys are saying, I'm very hopeful for some better times coming. And some of the stuff that we see and talk about that really affects us is the monopolization of the inputs. At this point, there's 4 seed and chemical companies in the country that control 78% of that. 3 fertilizers control 90% of the market, and 4 beef companies control 85% of the beef market. That makes it really tough for us when things are good. Our inputs just rise with the commodity prices. So we'd like some help on that. On another note, the big beautiful bill is a real win for us, and we really appreciate what you've done with that. It's lowered our tax rates. It's given us the ability to pass these farms on to the next generation. You strengthen the crop insurance. I think that all that stuff, and another thing that I want to mention is the border deal. We feel really blessed to have the control you put in place on the border. And other than that, I think you've done a great job. I'd like to add one more thing. We're in the pipeline construction business, and I was sharing with Secretary Rollins there that, we were a 8,000 person company under your first administration, and we went down to 12 to 1,500 people now. And it's just starting its way back up, and we're in the middle of negotiations on a big project in Alaska called Glen Farm that I think you're very aware of. And we're in the final stretches of that, so I know that's not farm related, but if there's any help we could get out of you guys for that, I think that's a real big piece for our energy security of this country, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Which we'll take care of. You all right? Anybody else? Would you like to say something?
Thank you very much for, like he said, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. That was those tax credits, a lot of the stuff that supports the American agriculture through the trade side as well. We've got fair trade has been a challenge in America lately, and we need to get what we deserve for our products. And I thank you for putting in the effort and doing the work and getting, we'd rather have fair trade than the subsidies like previously mentioned. E15, some of that stuff's great. Energy independence. On our farm, we actually have a co-digester where we take food waste and the cow manure and make methane. And I think some of that can also help increase local energy independence and keep some of our food that we all work so hard to produce from going in landfills. So thank you very much, and thank you for being frugal with our tax dollars on repairing Washington.
That's right. Thank you. So I just want to thank everybody. This was great. You're amazing people. You built this country. You built the country. We have all the complainers, all the people, they talk, they don't do anything. You're the ones that made America great, and we're making it greater than ever before. We have Make America Great Again, but we're now making it greater than ever before. So I just want to thank you all. It's an honor to be with you. We're straightening out a little unfinished business in Iran and a couple of other places. Tremendous success that we had in Venezuela. As you know, we're doing amazing oil business there right now, and it's been incredible. But I just want to thank everybody for being here special, and I want to thank you really for your support. We won in a landslide, and I just want to thank you for your support. Thank you all, and Ken, thank you.